Alright, in this video presentation, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access the assignments and resources available to you through the MyMathLab. Keep in mind that we will be going into more detail with what's available in there. Right now we're just focusing on accessing them. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and register for MyMathLab. This is going to be very easy. All we have to do is basically go into an assignment, and I'm going to try to do this as a student, even though I'm not, and see if I can go ahead and show you how this works. I'm going to come into modules, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to access all assignments. And basically, you should be able to just click on any assignment in order to do this. We should see a link that says this link needs to be loaded in a new window or tab, and so we're going to press continue. We need to accept the, what do we got here? Universal Terms of Service. And then from there you're done. That's all that is required in order to register for MyMathLab. Okay, the other thing that I do want to point out is after you have signed up for MyMathLab, make sure that you go back to the course and click on the MyLab Math browser check. There are several things in MyMathLab, including videos and animations, and you do want to make sure that you do this. I'm doing this on an iPad, and so it's not giving me anything that I need to do. But make sure that you have the Adobe Flash Player and all of those things downloaded, and it will give you instructions on what you need to add to your device, if anything. Okay, so that is how you register for MyMathLab and how you do the browser check. Alright, so now the next thing I want to show you is how do you access the assignments. There's going to be several ways to do this, and so the first thing I want to show you is using the modules link embedded in the home page. And so when we talk about the home page, I am talking about the link down here at the bottom that says modules. This is the one that I created. And so if we go ahead and click on that one, remember from the last assignment is this takes you to the modules landing page. And so for instance, we can come into any of the modules here, and we can come down to our homework and click on an assignment. And then it will ask us to load the assignment in a new window. And so if we go ahead and do this, then again, because I haven't done it in this class, this is not going to happen every time. Where is the bottom? And it pops up my homework. And so from here, we can go ahead and do our homework. Now, this is connecting to the MyMathLab program. But one thing to note is if you use this technique to access assignments, is that when you're done with this assignment, you are going to have to close it, and then you are going to have to do the same thing over again for the next one. Similarly, if you, in the last presentation, we talked about kind of scrolling through these things. We can do the same thing here. We can scroll. Eventually I will get to an assignment. Okay, and so same thing here. We can go ahead and open the assignment here. That's not what I wanted. We click to continue, and it does the same thing. It'll go ahead and upload the assignment for you. Okay, so again, this is going to be embedded in Canvas, and it's kind of going to be a little, we're just going to kind of dip our toe in MyMathLab when we do this. Okay, this is one way that you can access the assignments. Now, one of the things about doing it this way is with homework, you can also review your assignments this way, but when we get to quizzes, you cannot review quizzes using this technique. This is only going to allow you to do the assignment, not necessarily review it. The second technique that we have is we're going to go ahead and use the modules link on the left side of the screen. And so this is what we're looking for here, is these are all of our Canvas links, and so we want to click on this modules link. Now, if you do not see this, then what you need to do is you need to come up to the 3 lines up at the top. And this will go ahead and either bring them down or hide them. And so if we click on the modules link here, then what we can do is we can go ahead and come down to whatever module we're working on. As you complete modules, if you want to hide them, if you press the little arrow, it'll go ahead and collapse it. That way you're not having to scroll through every single thing. And so when we're looking in our module, when we look at everything that's here, we can go ahead and click on the homework assignment. We can go ahead and load it. And then here it is again. We are going to go through the assignment going through the assignments, particulars of the assignments in the next video. So don't worry. Remember, right now we are just focusing on how to access them. Okay, let's talk about the last method that you can use in order to access MyMathLab assignments. The previous two slides that we looked at, remember I said we were just dipping our toe, which means that we're not actually leaving Canvas. We are just kind of doing a quick link to MyMathLab. The second method the next method that I'm going to show you is going to basically, we're going to leave Canvas and we are going to go over to MyMathLab. There are 2 ways to get to it from here. Again, we can use either one of the modules links. And so if we start with the one here, down at the bottom, we have something that says CCDM 114 MyMathLab links. And if we go ahead and click on that, then it's going to go ahead and take us to the module that's labeled CCDM 114 MyMathLab links. And so this is going to be at the top of all the modules. Notice here below it we have the module 0. And then if you go further down, you'll see modules A, B, C, etc. And so what we're going to do now is we are going to go ahead and go into a couple different things. We did our browser check already. And the main ones that we want to point out, and we'll go ahead and talk about this in more detail later, but we have MyMathLab All Assignments. This is where you can go to complete assignments. We have the MyMathLab Gradebook. This is where you can go see the grades that are on MyMathLab. And then we have, and also review quizzes. And then we have the Pearson eText. So these are going to be ones that we're going to look at in a little bit. But the one that I do want to point out for now, because we're talking about accessing assignments, is we're going to go to MyLab Math All Assignments. If we go to this one, then basically what we can do is we can go ahead and see all of the assignments that we have for the course with their due dates. This is, again, we are no longer inside Canvas. We are now in the MyMathLab website. And so, but we can still access the assignment. It's still going to look the exact same thing. The main thing is when you close it, you're not going to be taken back to Canvas and have to try to find the next assignment. You just have to go to the next assignment. Okay? Okay, so that is accessing, how to access MyMathLab, the different ways that you can do this. And I'm going to recommend that if you are getting error messages using the links in Canvas, the way that we did it the previous 2 slides, then I recommend using the CCDM 114 MyMathLab links and just exiting out of Canvas and coming over here in order to access the assignments. Again, one thing to note is because it is the beginning of the semester, remember that this program is used internationally. And so right now there are a lot of people trying to get into MyMathLab, and it does cause the system to either slow down and sometimes crash. So if you run into issues, make sure that you give it a little bit of time. And if you are still having the issue, contact me. All right, that goes ahead. We are done with this one. And so in the next couple videos, we're going to go ahead and talk about what we can actually find in MyMathLab.